Thank you very much, Ann Peace, for the wonderful presentation, really colorful and detailed with numbers. Let's get into it then. She spoke about that AI can transform almost every aspect of our lives. Here we have business owners, we have people who run their own businesses, we've got people who are employed and basically have a lot of tasks to deliver every day. And you might be wondering, how can AI help me in terms of business and individual productivity? Allow me to welcome Ryan. He's the product manager at Samsung. He deserves a better clap.
Thank you so much for making the time to be here this morning. I've gotten a chance to see some familiar faces from a previous life who claim that I have become rounder, but that's up to them. And Peace, thank you so much for the presentation. I was just telling her I didn't know much about summer sauce. That was my own ignorance, but now I know a lot more. And it's really nice to see what you guys are doing. You asked an interesting question about ugali. Give me a recipe for cooking ugali.
Ugali is a simple staple food made from maize flour, cornmeal. Ingredients: 4 cups water, 2 cups fine white cornmeal, maize flour, optional, 1 teaspoon salt, 2 tablespoons butter or ghee. Instructions: 1. Boil the water.
Send this to my notes.
I've successfully saved the ugali in your notes.
Okay, there we go. I think we can validate it later and maybe try to cook ugali, because I am not good at it at all. Tell me about AI and brain atrophy.
The main concern is cognitive atrophy, which is the potential decline in essential cognitive abilities like critical thinking, memory, and concentration due to an over-reliance on AI tools like large language models, LLMs. Key findings. Studies suggest that delegating mental effort to AI can lead to reduced cognitive load. When participants use AI for tasks like essay writing, the intellectual effort required to transform information into knowledge, relevant cognitive load, significantly decreases. Lower brain engagement, EE.
So do we get smarter or dumber with AI? Dumber. Anyway, that was just a bit of an icebreaker on a couple of things. And I think these are some conversations maybe we can have much later on. So I'm Ryan from Samsung Electronics. I deal with the product side of the business. So the product management side, other functions such as our business-to-business side as well, where we look at how our products actually can be integrated into corporate environments. So just before we get, I'm going to cover a bit. Sorry, guys. I'm going to cover a bit about what we do in terms of our products, in terms of AI as well. I'll try not to make it too much of a sales to do that, but we're here to just try and educate you of where mobile experiences are going with artificial intelligence. Yeah, because as he rightly asked, what's the next frontier for mobile devices? So for us at Samsung, we've been proactively leading innovation, not only from the hardware space, but even software solutions as well, which I'll also speak to. But what do we actually do? So we are very our mobile devices. That's your smartphones, your tablets, your smartwatches, which now have AI integrated into them, Galaxy AI and Gemini. So this is a Watch 8. Was actually giving it a prompt via Gemini. Yeah. Then that is our device experience division. That's a primary division, which consists of the mobile devices, the home appliances, and the smart TVs. Now, what's interesting is across that entire range, we have actually built in AI across the full package, all the way into the washing machines, all the way into the refrigerators, and even the earbuds. Then we have a separate arm of the business, which you can see on the right-hand side, which is a device solutions division. We don't deal with the device solutions division directly, but it's just to give you an idea that we actually are a conglomerate type of organization. So we do network systems, we do health and medical equipment in abroad markets, so your ultrasounds, your MRIs, and then more importantly, we're in the memory and semiconductor business. So we're a major supplier of memory and semiconductor systems, and even things like displays. If you've been to Dubai or plan to go to Dubai, you know the Burj Khalifa. Samsung is also in that space in terms of construction and technology management. So that's who we are, beyond the smartphones that you know. Again, looking at mobile phone innovation. And one of the major things that people have been talking about is, and I get this question a lot, when is the next 3-screen phone, 4 screens, so on and so forth. But what has been happening progressively over time is that in the mobile phone industry, I think from about 2023, 2004, there have been efforts to now integrate AI into the systems of our devices, and we have done that proactively with the Galaxy S range. So in 2024, we introduced Galaxy AI with the S24 series. Then coming up into 2025 with the Galaxy S25 series, we took it a step higher, and we brought in what we're calling agentic AI. So when I asked the device to give me a recipe for ugali, which was fairly detailed, maybe he could be challenged 1 or 2 times, but I asked it to give me a recipe and then send that recipe to my notes. So that's of agentic AI technology, where the AI system is able to execute actions within multiple steps. And that's one of the leading elements that we introduced with our S series, and we've carried it on even to the latest S series that we've just introduced a month or so ago. So the next frontier in terms of mobile devices, yes, form factors will change, yeah, thinner, lighter, maybe 3 screens, 4 screens, whatever it is, but you'll find that even beyond our own brand, if you look at the other ones, there's a lot of integration of artificial intelligence into the devices. The challenge becomes, how much of these features are people actually actively using at the very basic level, whether it's Galaxy AI, whether it's Gemini. And I'll give you an example, and I should be responsible for this. Yesterday, I was going through some, we were online with my wife, going through some travel options for some bookings. So we were seeing them in dollars, and I asked her to convert, I think it was $120 to Kenya shillings. So she quickly pulled up the calculator. I'm like, you have the S, she has the S24. Just pull up Gemini, just ask it. So it just quickly did that for us, yeah? So very basic things. So for us as a brand, it's also going in the direction of how do we educate people to make the best use of these AI technologies, because they will continue to advance, they will continue to get better. Yeah, how do we make people actually be more exposed to them? So there's a good part of education there that's a priority for brands like us. If you look at the evolution of AI, and I think many of us talk about AI or as though almost like it's a new kind of experience. But the truth of the matter is that it's not. Yeah. So in terms of machine learning, all the way down from the 1980s, yeah. For those of you who've played video games all the way back to Sega Mega Drives when you had cartridges, yeah, artificial intelligence is what was playing on the other side, yeah, when you're actually playing against the computer. So artificial intelligence has been with us in one way, form, shape, or another. But now, as we've moved on into this current age, it's becoming more prevalent, it's becoming more accessible through our devices, and even as we move on, it will become physically available when you start to talk about robotics and artificial intelligence actually going on to robotics. And I think you've seen very many videos of robots doing all sorts of things. I believe Amazon themselves have replaced some of their staff in the warehouses with robots. They're all running on AI. So AI is transitioning into the physical realm as well, slowly by slowly. Whether it will replace certain jobs, replace certain people, it's still yet to be very clearly defined. But either way, if you look at that chart, going into 2024, the scaling is so rapid. Gone are the days where you hear of one AI platform or one language model, and then the next, it takes maybe a year for the next one. We're literally talking about years to months to weeks to days. So what does that mean? It's actually quite a big challenge. And especially, we're not in the regulation business, but we're very keen on understanding it, and ethics. What does it mean for that space? The AI systems and the language models are constantly evolving at such a rapid pace. And we look at how long in some countries it takes to actually implement regulation and pass them through and implement ethics. Is it timely enough? Or will the systems have already moved forward? Then, as Anpi said, you didn't include X, you didn't include X. Now we have this. So this is a major challenge for the industry. And it's an interesting space to look at. In terms of AI smartphone market and the capabilities of it, this graph basically shows you progressively. It's a suggestion that as we progress into the next few years, the number of smartphones that will be shipped globally, majority of them will have AI capabilities as default. Whether it's running on Gemini, whether it's running on Galaxy AI, or whatever other proprietary AI systems, that is going to increase significantly. If we look at the benefits of AI, now from a business perspective, and I think when we have the discussion at the podcast level, we'll dive a bit more deeper into this. What are the things that people are expecting, especially for enterprises with AI? And I'll also maybe touch a bit on what Samsung is doing, even internally, to integrate AI into our workflows. But productivity is a major thing. I mean, everyone wants to do everything faster. And maybe at times, as we do those things faster, and we're asking AI to help us, maybe we are getting less creative, but it's a double-edged sword. So Daisy here, I'll put you on the spot. Daisy is from our in-house marketing agency. Many times she'll ask me to give a brief for materials, and we have so many things we're doing at one particular time. So I have written very many briefs for you with the power of AI. So it's made me more productive, can move on to other work, and it makes your work better. So that productivity element is really big. Business growth. But this business growth will be dependent on how well these AI systems are integrated, how well the mobile devices with these AI systems are integrated, and how they fit into the actual processes fast of the business, and even the culture. And then user experience as well. How are we making it a lot more seamless to actually navigate your device? For personal use, for business use, are we making the experience simpler? Security, I will talk about that. We are also quite majorly in the security side of things, which most people don't know, with our system called Samsung Knox. So these are some of the key benefits that, on a top line level, that most businesses are expecting to reap out of mobile devices as they invest in them, assimilate them into their processes, and of course, reap the benefits of AI. Our lineup is you'll get to see a few of the products we have out there as you have your break. Of course, we have smartphones in all categories, from the premium end, the mid-end, the entry level, and our wearables as well, which are really the leading industry standard, not only in terms of the AI that I showed you, but also some of the wellness and fitness features, and also just general operations that you get from your wearable systems. Tablets as well, in a big part of how devices are used in organizations, especially for people who are going into the field, collecting data, executives who are using them for remote workflows. We have products for every single category and every single price point. The whole story of AI and the integration of it, it's cutting across. So most of the times when you hear about AI, you'll typically hear it from the S-line products, but it actually cuts across into the tablets. It's now starting to cut down to our mid-range and even our entry range. We have some artificial intelligence features on those, and of course, with our strong partnership with Google, the Gemini functionalities as well. So I'm just sorry, I'm playing around with this a bit. And if you were to ask me, if we take the S25, for instance, and let's put this in the hands of a business user, such as myself, for example, there's a whole host of artificial intelligence features built into this. Again, many of which are probably not fully utilized, but we strive to educate people a bit more on it. So S-Series actually runs both Galaxy AI, which is our own proprietary artificial intelligence platform, and then of course Gemini is bolstering that as well. So this cross-app action or seamless action between applications is the example I gave you. So in the same way I asked it about Ugali, I can ask it to find the latest report on the global economic situation and send that link to my notes, for example, or send that link to my email, yeah, for me to action it later. If I wanted to do note-taking without having to write, I know you're all familiar, there's a lot of note-taking and transcription applications that you can get on the web, but we've built this in, of course, into the device. You're capable of doing that. Then we introduce the call transcript. On a phone call, you can actually record the phone call and post the phone call. It will actually do a full transcript of the conversation of the phone call. So if you are thinking of this as a business user or even an individual user, you'll be able to actually have the full detail of what you actually conversed with person X, yeah, for either later reference or any other purpose. Of course, do let them know that you're recording them beforehand, yeah? So call transcription, yeah? Then you've got browser assists. The regulation, the document we talked about, yeah? Yes. Yeah, I did actually open, it's quite long. I think I got to page 10 or so, yeah? It's quite long. So, of course, with the browser assist, so we have our own Samsung browser, which is actually fairly underutilized, but it's really powerful. So on that, you can actually open the page and summarize those notes, or you can open the PDF itself and do a summary, yeah? And it'll give you a quick summary of that, and that's all inbuilt. Before you actually take the item and put it on a chat platform, you can actually do that straight from the device. Writing assists. Do we write concisely? Do we write clearly? Do we write professionally? So that's built in, and this is particularly strong on the Samsung devices, I must say. And then also as we're out and about, you know, whether you're creating content, whether you're shooting video for even this event, whether it's for business, whether it's for personal use, we've built AI capabilities into the camera so that you can automatically trim a video, you can erase the audio. So let's say I'm on a business trip, Uganda, been to Gulu before, and I'm in the market and I want to shoot a video which I'm going to send maybe to the team about what I'm seeing in a dealer store, yeah? There could be a lot of background noise and I might be talking and giving a brief as I shoot that short clip. Now with the audio eraser, it will actually erase out background noise. So it will identify through the power of AI different forms of background noise. It could be vehicle noise, it could be maybe music in the background, whatever it is. It will erase that, allowing me to now have a cleaner video, send that to the team, my brief is done, yeah? So there's so many ways you can actually take all these systems and put them in the context of your personal life and your business life, yeah? Again, education is key. In terms of security, I'll talk about Knox a bit later, but we have a security system built into the Samsung ecosystem of devices. It's called Samsung Knox, that actually provides you with a very high level of protection on your device against threats, yeah? And again, if we look at a case of Samuel here, he's a manager. I don't know how many of you I'm blocking, but I'll stand here in the far corner. So again, Samuel is a senior manager. He's using one of our devices powered with Galaxy AI. He gets on a phone call, a business phone call, and he decides that he will record that phone call so that he can have the notes for later for reference. How many things do we forget? Broken telephone, yeah? How many things do we actually forget? I forget a lot of things when I'm on the phone with my wife. It's a different case. Especially when she sends me for things. Huh? But anyway, so he makes a phone call, a business phone call. After the phone call, he has a full transcript of the conversation. This makes it easier for him to also share the discussion points with person X. So quicker action. He doesn't have to go onto email, send that email. And so the whole conversation, the whole workflow can actually be seamless and continual. Yeah. And in the physical meetings, he can decide not to write the notes. He'll use the note transcript. It will give him a transcript of the meeting discussions. If there are multiple speakers in the room, it will identify each individual speaker, per what they said. Now, granted, these AI systems are actually getting gradually better. They're not 100% perfect. This much we know. So of course there's a bit of validation and correction that needs to be done, but we're getting there. Now, as well, he has to do reports, he has to do presentations, and he wants to do research. I use YouTube a lot. I use YouTube for almost anything and everything. So if I want to understand a particular thing or concept, I'll go into YouTube, I'll watch a video on it. If I don't have the time to watch, and I think our attention spans are getting shorter by the day. If I don't have the time to watch a 20-minute video, I can still use Galaxy AI to summarize the contents of that video and get information about that particular video, which I can use for my own research. So, for maybe a project that he's running, or a report or a presentation he's planning. Then in a meeting as well, I think we're familiar with being in a meeting room. There's a whiteboard or a paper chart like that, and a lot of notes are taken. We usually just take our camera and take a photo, right? When you go back to look at the photo, you can't make heads and tails of what is written on the chart. But of course, with Gemini, you're able to take a photo of that and actually transform what is on that chart into text. Again, all that is now making Samuel a lot more efficient. It's freeing up a lot of his time to actually get the important things done. So the whole thing about AI is how much of the mundane, how much of the repetitive can we reduce so that we can allocate our work resources, our brain resources, our time resources to the things that really matter the most. This is a quick video that just gives you a concept of that kind of situation and how that works.
Hi, are you calling about the Q3 sector?
Yes, that's right. The NS reported a revenue of 65 million.
Maybe I had real quick. Yeah. Thank you so much. Bye.
John, I think I lost my Galaxy. Can you help me find it?
It's locked?
Yeah, just that.
Okay. Thank you so much, John.
In the interest of time, I'll just quickly go through. I think the video really pretty much captures everything I was talking about. You saw this lady who was using the S25 to get around with her work. Some of the AI features we talked about, which really improved her quality of life, of work and experience. But there was another feature there that you saw where there was an IT manager who was able to lock down the device when she left it in an auditorium. So as I mentioned, we have a platform called Knox. Knox is our own security platform. It's built into all Samsung devices, and it has a very high level of encryption technology, actually certified in up to 60 different certification bodies across 10 different countries. Yeah. So this particular system is built into all Samsung devices. That's one part. Now, because we're talking about enterprise and we're talking about devices enterprise, companies need to put of devices in their environment. Yeah. So if they're doing that, we have a suite of solutions that allow you to actually manage these devices. So if Anne, for her data collection team, wants to buy 200 tablets, she might be concerned about how they're used in the field. Yeah. Are they being used for TikTok, Netflix, 24 hours? Or are they being used for the summer applications and the actual work that needs to be done? So with our Knox suite of solutions, which provide device management, we can lock down the tablet. Yeah, so we can restrict the use of certain applications. We can even create a kiosk mode that locks the tablet to a specific environment that is defined by the company, even branded to the company's colors and logos, and whoever is using that tablet uses it only for that specific function. So that's our suite of solutions. They're cloud-based, Samsung Knox suite. And they basically allow us to secure, number one, because the Knox architecture is running behind that. Deployment, whether you're putting 10, 15, 20, 1,000, 10,000 devices into the field, and device management. If you wanted to get asset intelligence and wanted to device is performing in the field or troubleshoot if it has issues, also capable of doing that. And we can also customize and configure devices for certain applications. Yeah. So, for example, the Parliament of Kenya today wanted, let's say, smartphones and tablets, and they wanted them branded in the colors of government or Parliament office. We have a solution within the suite that's able to do that. If you wanted to deploy tablets to a banking hall and you wanted them to be operating in a particular kiosk environment, we can do that as well. So again, just to show you the versatility of how we have gone beyond just the smartphones that we sell to also solutions that allow our devices to be used very effectively in those business environments. And this is just a good example. You can see here some mock-ups of a device that's been locked down. So even if you're looking at the education space, again, there's all this talk about using tablets in schools, for education. Yeah? How do we make sure that they're being used for the right applications? How do we make sure we can monitor them, track them, secure them, even if they're lost? So you can see here this particular example of some kiosk modes that have been set up on the tablet. So when you do this, you're not able to navigate elsewhere on the device. You're locked into that environment. So that level of device control giving you that fixated functionality of your products. And lastly, because we've talked about AI, and AI on these devices, and we're talking about the enterprise context as well. There's a lot of concern about, well, if I'm allowing people within the company to use smartphones with AI, how much of my company data or information is actually getting posted up into the cloud? It's a very major concern. Yeah. So if you're an IT manager and you have bought some devices, let's say the S25 series, and you've deployed them to your executives. The IT manager, through the Knox suite of solutions, is able to actually, first of all, partition this device and have a workspace and a personal space. And in the workspace, all the company applications and everything that belongs to the company actually sits there. Yeah. Within that workspace, they can choose to actually fully disable all the AI functionalities. So while this person is doing company X's business, on the workspace of the device, which is separated, they are not able to access the AI functionalities. But if I want them to access the AI functionalities, I could put what we call a policy control to actually allow them to access only the AI functions that are functional within the device, and not those that actually connect to the cloud. So again, we're extremely versatile in how we're able to deploy these devices into personal lives and enterprise spaces. And for us, we are actually positioning ourselves as a driver or the vehicle for your AI experiences. Yeah? Of course, we are relying on a lot of the industry that is generating and building these large language models and all these AI platforms, and we're making significant efforts to be the first to market with improvements in the AI that we're building into the smartphones.